Okay. Told you guys I'd be back. I told you I'd be back after being at the beach, after just, relaxing, recharging my batteries. I'm ready to go again. Thanks everybody that tuned in to that first one. I didn't expect that many viewers that early in the morning, but yeah, I want to talk more about this Columbus incident. In reality, I probably should have titled it stabbing or attempted stabbing, because of course the story from the media is shooting. Let me just do that. Okay. The story from the media is that this was a shooting, not that it was an attempted stabbing that was stopped by law enforcement. But we'll get to all that. Let me pull the chat over here so that I can see who's watching right now. I'm sharing my screen, so I'm still trying to figure out this StreamYard thing, but I'll pull the chat over on this other screen here so I can see. We got some people in the building. Somebody told me to mention the 13-year-old girl in Cincinnati. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. But first, I want to talk about the Columbus situation. Okay, guys, they think you're an idiot. They think you're stupid. They think that your eyes are lying to you. They think that you'll believe that your eyes deceive you and that you were born today, like you're today years old. So anything they tell you, you'll take it. Because how else can you explain just the overt, just gaslighting? Okay, the way that they're trying to frame this, they're so desperate for the next George Floyd that they're clinging on to this Ma'Khia Bryant situation. And they're telling you all this irrelevant information about her. She was a TikToker. She liked to make TikTok videos about makeup and stuff. I'm like, yeah, can we get to the part where she almost stabbed somebody to death? Because I feel like that's an important fact that you guys are leaving out. And you trying to paint this rosy picture of her just because she's 16 is irrelevant when she tried to stab somebody. And oh, by the way, it's on camera. Where would we be without body cam footage? This is something that BLM wanted. They asked for body cam footage. Personally, I think it's a great thing because it allows for truth and transparency. You can't really spin a narrative off of just that. I mean, you can spin a narrative off of it, but you can hallucinate whatever you want. But the facts are right there in the video, right? The facts will either vindicate the officer or it'll, show that he was out of line. But in this case, it showed that she was out of line. And it's very important, I think, that the knife was in plain view, so nobody can say she was allegedly armed, like they try to do with the kid in Chicago. I forget his name, Adam Carolla, maybe. When they try to say he was unarmed, and then you see later, oh, the gun he dropped the gun. But this one, nope, the gun is right out there in front. But before we even get to all of the gaslighting, all of the hallucinating and just manipulating people, how come nobody's asking, why was this 16-year-old girl wielding a knife? Where was mom and dad? I guess we find out that she was in foster care. But still, a kid with a knife, a kid with a gun, talking about that kid in Chicago. Like, I have questions. I don't want to just get to the whole, yeah, this is a racist police killing. Can we dig into the facts just a little bit more? See, they're so desperate to get everybody on board with, is another racist killing, nothing to see here, just racist killing. People have questions. We want to know more about the situation before we jump to these conclusions, right? Why is nobody asking this question? What's going on with these kids? And this girl specifically obviously had some anger issues. There's something going on, but they keep on giving you this information about she's the one who called 911. She was an honor roll student. She was only 16. She made TikTok videos. Then they get to the part, oh, and she might have had a knife. They're saying literally, she might have had a knife. Listen, hold on.
Pretty incredible. MSNBC's Jason Johnson. He misleads about the case too, because that's what he does.
Ma'Khia Bryant, a 16-year-old girl in Columbus, Ohio, called the police for help. An officer was on the scene, and in 22 seconds, he shot her dead. An honor roll student who's making TikTok videos on makeup and hair. This hasn't stopped.
You see that? Like, honor roll student. Do you see how they're trying to tug at the heartstrings? It's all about an appeal to emotion. Appeal to emotion. Joyanne Reed said she didn't even watch the body cam footage because she didn't want to see the truth that this girl tried to murder someone. And I tweeted this about maybe an hour or so ago. I said, you know, if there was no sinister motive to try to demonize law enforcement and destroy America, why couldn't the headline have read, Columbus police officer saves teenager from stabbing? Because that's true, right? Did he shoot the other girl that had the knife? Well, yeah, that's true. But depending on how you want to frame it, you know, to shape public perception and build on a narrative, you could frame it one way or the other. You could say it as he saved a black life or he took a black life. But just like with COVID and everything else, they focus on the darkest part of it, right? Look how many people died from COVID-19. Let's leave out the little detail where the majority of people recovered from it. Let's focus on the deaths and the hospitalizations because it'll tug at heartstrings. It'll make people afraid and they'll buy into the narrative, whichever we want to push. Same thing with this situation. I feel like this situation is only going to backfire for the media. It's already happening, which is why they're coming up with all of these things, telling you about these different aspects of her. She made TikTok videos. So you should just totally forget that she tried to stab someone. And then here's the gem right here. Hold up. Let me not get too worked up here. Look at this. I gotta bring this tweet over here. Can y'all see this tweet? Look at this tweet. I had to fact check this to make sure it was a real tweet. It says, teenagers have been having fights, including fights involving knives, for eons. We do not need police to address these situations by showing up to the scene and using a weapon against one of the teenagers. Y'all need help. I mean that sincerely. Bree Newsom. I had no idea who this person was, but she's a gem. I'll just say that. Unbelievable. Teenagers have been having fights, including involving knives, for eons, which translates to, come on, guys, it's just a casual knife that she had. I mean, that knife was peaceful. I mean, she just peacefully tried to stab that girl. You're the crazy person. See what I mean? Gaslighting. You're the crazy person for having questions about a teenage girl trying to stab somebody. That's on you, people. Y'all are crazy. How dare you have questions about this girl trying to stab somebody else? What's wrong with you, people? Wake up to this. That's a real tweet, by the way. If you go through her Twitter, it's insane. It's insane, but you know, double standards. So she's basically just on this constant tirade. Doesn't seem like a very happy person. Making excuses for this. Nobody seems to care that somebody almost died. And even, I believe, the governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, you know, the guy that enforced the curfew back in October, Republican guy. Anyway, his little press conference, he said something along the lines of, all we know is that a teenage girl won't be going home to her family tonight. Her life has ended. She won't be going home to her family tonight. Okay, so if the officer had not intervened and she stabbed someone to death, would she be going home to her family that night? I'm just saying. I mean, maybe it's because I haven't lived a long life yet, or because they're lying, they're gaslighting. They think that you're an idiot. They think that you won't notice what they're trying to do, trying to make you focus on everything except for the fact that this girl was an immediate threat to everyone around her. Who knows what would have happened? And then when you watch the video, the body cam footage, her dad is, or whoever that guy is, I don't know if it's her dad or someone else she's related to, just over there kicking some other girl on the ground. I don't know what was going on. I don't even know if what went on before the officer showed up matters, because she had a knife and the call in to the police said someone has a knife and they're trying to stab people. So naturally the cop shows up thinking, okay, somebody's got a knife. I got to have my head on a swivel and be ready. Luckily, he was there in the nick of time, or 2 black lives would be over. One would be dead and one would be going to prison. So without railing too hard against that, let me go back to the, here we go. So, all of these articles are just talking about how there's more questions from the community, horrendous tragedy, a candlelight vigil. Don't get me wrong. It's sad. It's sad. I mean, that girl had her whole life ahead of her. I don't know what was going on. I mean, she's in foster care. So that probably had played a role in her behavior or whatever was going on. But they're looking for the next George Floyd. They're just trying to build on a narrative. And this is a problem when you try to just lump everything in instead of looking at each case individually. Because some cases, like the case in Brooklyn Center, that's a bad shoot. That's bad. So that cop that shot Dante Wright, she needs to go away. Based on the information that I have so far, I think she needs to go away. The shooting in South Carolina several years ago, Walter Scott, that guy needs to go away, or he went away, right? Everybody pretty much agreed on that. When Walter Scott was running away, dude shot him in the back a bunch of times. Philando Castile, that's another one, right? But they try to lump them all in. These are all racist police killings. There's no other information you need to know other than it was a white officer and a black person that was killed. And the person that was killed was an honor roll student. So it's not impossible that they could have done what they said that they did, even though you watched it happen yourself. You just need to know that the person was really cool. She was a sweetheart. I mean, I don't know how many people you personally know that are really awesome, but also stab people. I personally don't know anyone that is super cool, but also kind of casually stab people. And, it's just a thing that happens. Teenagers just casually do that. Meanwhile, I was looking for the story from Chicago. I think it was Chicago, where the 7-year-old girl was murdered at a McDonald's. Okay. Horrible story. Nobody talks about it, right? But anyway, as I'm looking it up, I just type in here, as you can see, 7-year-old shot, because I thought that would be the first one that popped up. Nope, my mistake. Look at this. 7-year-old boy shot in Detroit. 7-year-old boy shot in Raleigh. 7-year-old boy fatally shot in Rivera Beach. Oh, I'm sorry. There's more than one 7-year-old shot. Black on black crime. Nobody wants to talk about it. These black lives literally don't matter to the news. That is a fact. It's a fact. These news outlets, these blue check marks, LeBron James don't give a damn about these black children shot and killed in all of these cities. Look at them. Look at the stories right here. The first 3 stories. And mind you, like I just said, I was looking for the one from Chicago because that was the one that I knew about. So I wanted to pull it up as an example of like, here's a black life that, doesn't matter. They don't care. And look, it's not just Chicago. It's Detroit. It's Raleigh. It's Rivera Beach, wherever that is. All these candlelight vigils. Okay, here's the one that I was looking for. 7-year-old Jaslyn Adams. My goodness. This is so sad. These black lives don't matter. 7-year-old boy shot to death while riding a car with his mom in North Carolina. So it's everywhere. It's happening all around the country. 7-year-old girl fatally shot by uncle in Gastonia. This is sad. I just typed in 7-year-old. I don't even want to type any other numbers. If I type in 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old, I'll probably get news article upon news article. It's local news stories that don't get national coverage because it doesn't help the Marxist, garbage, demonic media push their stupid narrative to divide the country and make everybody hate each other. When in reality, we could actually solve a lot of our problems if we focused on the real problems, if we actually focused on it, instead of cherry pick stories. So yeah, say their names. All these stories right here, all these stories of these kids that are being murdered, children murdered. You won't hear Anderson Cooper talk about it. Don Lemon doesn't give a damn. None of these people care about these kids that are murdered. So sad. So sad. They don't care, but they want you to care about all these other people that are, are used as deities. You know, it's really sad. In the other story, since we're talking about stabbing, 13-year-old girl charged with murder in stabbing death of 13-year-old girl. This was in Cincinnati, just down the road from Columbus. I haven't heard a BLM spokesperson. I didn't see any tweets. LeBron James couldn't be found for comment. You know, the usual suspects when it comes to virtue signaling and moral outrage. These people don't care. They don't give a damn. And so I'm just going to make it a point to constantly call them out. Either you care about all Black lives or you care about none of them. You don't just get to pick based on if it drives your narrative forward. If it helps you with your agenda to say, look, America's systemically racist, and this is why we should, destroy it. This is why we don't need a constitution. This is why we don't need these things. But meanwhile, this is all going on, and they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about 7-year-old girls killed, Black kids just killed in the street, just casually. That's what's casual, is the fact that the news will treat these stories as if it's just Black on Black crime. It doesn't matter. And like I was highlighting earlier in my live stream, with the Columbus shooting, that's them telling you right there, as you see from the body cam footage, she's about to stab a Black girl. They purposely leave that out, even though they know you can see what's happening. They leave that part of it out and just tell you, yeah, she was shot by the cop, and that's the real story. It wasn't the Black on Black crime that this cop basically just caught on camera and stopped, by the way. He saved a Black life. Just saying, there could have been 2 Black lives lost. That's all I got to say about it. But anyway, y'all, let me try to keep it as calm and cool and collected as I can. You know, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Okay, let's bring it back in. The thing is, man, they will pick somebody like a George Floyd, like a Jacob Blake, and, you know, while you shouldn't judge people based on the worst thing that they've done and say like that defines you, because that's kind of what the left does, to say like, this is why we can't, take down George Washington statues and all this. This is why they do that. But I mean, why are we like propping up a George Floyd and a Jacob Blake and using them as like these martyrs, right? Martyrs for change, and just the worship of these people, like treating them like a deity. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense to me. This is Nancy Pelosi. I talked about this earlier. Listen to Nancy Pelosi.
So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that?
Thank you. Thank you for helping us move forward with our agenda. We appreciate you from beyond the grave. Thank you. When's the last time you thanked someone for dying? Unless you're talking about Christ. I don't understand it. This is, I don't get it. Or this. You guys remember this, Jim, from Joe Biden last year?
But even Dr. King's assassination did not have the worldwide impact that George Floyd's death did.
In case you didn't understand that, I'm going to play it again for you.
But even Dr. King's assassination did not have the worldwide impact that George Floyd's death did.
Got it? Just so you know, the death of George Floyd was more impactful than Martin Luther King being assassinated. You know, the guy that said we shouldn't judge people by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. The guy that if he were to say that right now, he'd be canceled. He'd be canceled, period. You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to think that. You should not spread that idea. You can only judge people by the color of their skin. That's the only thing that matters. You have to judge people by skin color. But isn't that just a little bit hyperbolic, really? But I mean, we can't be surprised. This is the guy said that, Georgia is reenacting or bringing back Jim Crow. Just hyperbolic, just constant fear mongering. Or this, Dave Chappelle, he had an entire like stand-up thing, or rather sit down, little series, 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Like, just the obsession over it. I've seen face masks that have 846. It's almost like it's a Bible verse or something. And just this deity worship, or burying him in a gold casket. Bury George Floyd in a gold casket. How many of those kids, let me go back to this page. How many of these little kids will be buried in gold caskets? Any of them? You think any of these little kids will be buried in gold caskets? Will anyone even bother to pay for this little girl's funeral? Her life doesn't matter because a white person didn't take it. That's where we are in the country. That's why I said maybe it's better that America just breaks up. Maybe we just need a nice little separation. It doesn't have to be, barbaric or anything. It can be very just clean. Just separate. You do you, I do me, and we just call it good. Because I don't want to live in a place where people don't care that a little girl was murdered because the killer didn't have the right skin color for people to care and want to pay for her funeral. But, let's go ahead and bury George Floyd in a gold casket. I'm just saying. Anyway. Or, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, let's virtue signal. Look, this is where we are, man. This is where we are. I'm going to show black people how much I care by putting on some kente cloth and taking a knee. Knowing damn well they don't care. Here's the proof that they don't care. Even about George Floyd, it's about their agenda.
To the Congressional Black Caucus who have shaped the bill. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name.
Of whose name? Wait a minute. What?
Worthy of George Kirby's name.
George Kirby. George Kirby. I know that's old. That's from like a week or so after it happened last year. But I bring it back up just to remind you guys that don't forget that they don't care. They never cared. Even the people that they prop up and worship and put on this like pedestal, they don't care. They just see it as the golden opportunity to seize power, to use it to bludgeon their political opponents, to shame people, to cram down critical race theory, to reshape and restructure America's institutions, and to just drive general hatred. Just to drive general hatred. When you push this garbage, you push this nonsense, it has the opposite effect. When you call everything racist, nobody can identify real racism because you called everything racist. Right? When you try to cram down race theory, telling people they're racist just because they were born. You came out of the womb and you just hated people. You're just racist. You have these blind prejudices and bias. You just are. They're telling you that you suck because of the way you're born, or that you can't do something, or that you're a victim because of the way you were born. It builds resentment. It has the opposite effect, which again, just further proves the point that they don't care. They never cared, and they love to prove it, but they want you to think that they care. We care so much. We care deeply. Who thought this was a good idea? Come on, y'all. Come on. Who thought that was a good idea? Y'all know it's nonsense. There I go. Okay. Yeah. So that's that. I think that's pretty much what I had to say about that rant. That's all I had to say. I just wanted to elaborate more about what was so blatantly obvious as far as this shooting, this latest incident in Columbus. They don't care, man. They don't care. But LeBron James with his tweet, which why did he delete that tweet? Why did he delete it? Yeah, nobody should fall for it. Nobody should fall for that. I think I can honestly say I don't think I know any black people that fall for it, but some clearly do. They clearly do. They actually think that all of these virtue signalers, these social justice warriors, actually care, and they're going to make a difference, and they're driving change, but they're ignoring all of the Black death that is happening. right in front of them. They simply just can't keep the same energy. They don't even know that a 13-year-old girl was stabbed in Cincinnati. They don't know because the news didn't tell them. The news didn't tell them. And if you tell them, the outrage won't be the same. They'll just be like, oh, that's sad and tragic. When if you say, oh, by the way, it was a white cop that did it, they'll be like, what, another one? See what I'm saying? You got it. Anyways, man. I think I said everything I gotta say. I should probably just log off right now because I don't want to get heated. I don't want to get heated. It just makes me so angry that this is all that they seem to care about. That's all they care about, is if it helps them drive their agenda, drive home their narrative. Tina said she lives in Columbus but didn't hear about the one in Cincinnati. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It feels like since the start of the year, there has been, maybe even over the last month or so, it just feels like there's been a lot of violence, whether it's police shootings, mass shootings, stabbings. It's just been wild this year. Wow. 2021 said, hold my beer. Brandon Tatum made the BBC look like fools today. He was awesome. I didn't even know that he was on the BBC. I'll have to check that out. Here's a hug, bro. Let me read that. The comment always goes away when I try to read it. Here's a hug, bro. Chill and remember I have your back. Posted ya to my Facebook so it will get out. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I think I had a super chat come through earlier too. Oh yeah, and I saw that some people commented and said that they would love to move to Florida. I mean, move here because, like many of you said, people are leaving blue states. People from the left are leaving blue states and coming to places like Texas and Florida. So if they're doing it, you need to do it. Help bolster what we have going down here in Florida. That's all I can really say, because if you're saying that they're moving down here to turn it blue, then you offset them if you move down here to keep it red. And not just here. I mean, go to other states too. I mean, I don't really know. Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee. I mean, if the left can do it, so can we. That's the way I see it. I mean, because I think you're just going to see more and more of a mass exodus from, if not blue states, at least blue cities. People aren't going to want to be in the city, inner city. Even if you're in a red state, I wouldn't necessarily advise living in a city. There's just too much craziness in the world. It's too unstable. There's just too much going on. At least for me personally, I don't like it. I want to get out of Cleveland, West Virginia. Looks great. Yeah, do it. I've been to West Virginia once. I drove through. It was kind of cold, so I didn't get a chance to check it out, but I love the mountains. I mean, go to some of these states that are, even if the weather's not ideal or whatever, North Dakota, they just banned mask mandates. I think it was Arkansas that just banned vaccine passports. They're just getting ahead of it. They're just trying to get ahead of it. And that's the way you neutralize an administration like Biden. States' rights. States defying federal order is much more powerful than you as an individual defying a federal order. I mean, we as individuals collectively, yes, but if you can do it at the state level, if your governor and state legislatures on board, you're good. You're good. It's a firewall. It's a firewall. So we don't have to really stress too hard about what Biden wants to do, because, DeSantis is taking care of it. He's really just out there pushing back. And I'm on board with it. So I'm good with that. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. This is short. Keep it short and sweet. They don't care. Just to wrap up, just to, conclude this all, tie it back all together. They don't care about any of these Black lives, including the ones that they plaster all over your TV and try to gaslight you because they think you are a moron. They think you're too stupid to see what's happening with your own eyes. And they think you're today years old and you don't know that that teenagers don't carry knives. So, they think that, teenagers just have knife fights. It just happens. And she made TikTok videos, so she couldn't have been a bad person. I mean, honor roll student to a stabbing suspect? No. You do not need to believe what you just saw. She was a sweet, innocent angel. Nice try. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. They don't care about the Black lives. They don't care about these little black kids that are getting shot by the dozens. Like I said, I typed in 7-year-old shot because I was looking for a specific story and I got like 10. Because it's happening right now as we speak all around the country. 40 million Black people in the United States of America. 40 million. And thousands killed every year. Not by police, by each other. Facts. No BLM outrage. Nobody talks about it. None of the people who get on TV and cry and pretend to care give a damn. They don't even mention it. They don't care. They never talk about it. But what they do talk about is the less than 25, I'd say average about 20, 25 per year police shootings of Black suspects. Some of which resisted arrest or were in immediate danger to the cop or someone else, like this Columbus situation. Those are the people that they prop up and say, America hates Black people. Again, 40 million, 7,000 or more. I think it was either last year or 2019, 7,000 plus Black people killed by other Black people, less than 30 killed by cops. Of those 30, some of them, if not the majority of them, justified shootings. End of story, not debatable. Miss me with trying to prop up all these people, put them in gold caskets, tell everyone that they're just, thank you so much for dying. Oh my gosh, what a hero, what an awesome person, but ignore the little innocent, beautiful Black children that are killed senselessly. And then, of course, the children that never make it to this world because abortion is healthcare. So yeah, those Black lives certainly don't matter because they never get a chance to breathe oxygen. So yeah, anyways, we'll end on that note. I'm sorry there's not more positive to talk about right now, but that's where we are as a country. It's sick. It's disgusting that Black people are used. Not just Black people. We're all pawns in this chess game. They're all just using us. But specifically, they go back and forth between Blacks and illegals. It's like, who's going to be the sacred cow of the day? George Floyd was the ultimate one, but they love to try to cherry pick. So now they might pivot back to the crisis at the border and talk about like, oh, look at these. But see, they don't have the orange man to blame for that. But they keep on going back and forth with who's the martyr, who's the most oppressed, who's the most victimized. How can we prop it up and say it's America's fault? It's white supremacy, yada, yada, yada. They continue to do that. We'll continue to call them out as independent media. So appreciate you all. If you're new, make sure that you are subscribed. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss live streams or videos. Tomorrow I'm going to West Palm. I'm going back for a flag wave. So you'll probably get another episode of me ranting, but it'll be in a more toned down, live on RSBN thing. So that's tomorrow, 4:30 to 6:30, West Palm. If you're in South Florida, come on out. We're going to build this momentum with these street corner rallies, and we're just going to continue to steamroll ahead, and we'll see where we go with this. God is on our side, and I really feel like because the truth will always prevail, it's going to be fine. God won't lead us astray. We can overcome this. One more super chat before I go. E. Jackson says, thanks, Mike. They're trying to use race to usher communism into the U.S. Those who don't see it have been psychologically programmed by the media. Yeah, they use fake racial justice, climate change, and viruses as Trojan horses to destroy the country. Like I said, this COVID thing, it's not going away. They have no intentions of ever repealing the mask mandate. All you got to do is listen to Fauci talk. This isn't a conspiracy theory. Listen to Fauci talk. He does not know when it's going to end. He dances around questions. He won't. His little exchange with Jim Jordan, they ran circles around Fauci, came to his defense. You're being too hard on him. Yeah, well, his opinion forced closed the economy, bankrupted 100,000 businesses, suicides up, domestic violence is up, drug abuse is up, depression is up, people are fatter, people can't go to the gym, people are wearing 2 and 3 masks, people got all these freaking side effects from the COVID vaccine. All of this garbage is happening right now, and they have no intention of ever stopping. If this is how we're going to respond to this virus, well, viruses are always going to be here. They've always been here, right? So since COVID's not going anywhere, just like the flu isn't going anywhere, that means that our response to it is going to be constant, right? Since this is the new normal and people are hallucinating like it's just a mask, it's just a vaccine, and they're pretending like they're just living a normal life from behind a mask. These things are not going away. They plan on keeping this going. So COVID, climate change, they're going to keep fear mongering around that. And then, police brutality, racism, systemic racism, critical race theory. They're using those 3 invisible enemies, omnipresent threats, constants, things that never go away. They can always just recycle each one. We'll go to some climate change. We're going to be dead in 20 years with AOC. We have 9 years left. It's always some doomsday prophecy. We got to stop doing this. So between the virus, racism, and climate change, they're using all 3 of them to change America. And that's it. Don't want to talk in circles. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Come out to West Palm tomorrow in South Florida.